Alright, boys and girls, this is one of the big ones, the big summer movie, The Avengers. Not the one I'm really looking forward to, but definitely up there, and if you're a huge comic fan on any level, you have no excuse not to love this movie for what it is. It is just brilliant, and I'm going to try not to sing its praises too much because it's so easy to, because of how great it is, and everyone is doing it, but I can say that it is probably the most enjoyable comic book movie ever made. Hands down, the most enjoyable. Whether or not it's the greatest, that is up for debate. That depends on a lot of different factors, in my opinion, but it is unquestionably the most enjoyable. I haven't had a more fun time watching a superhero movie ever in the theater. Everything about it was just fantastic. I think the thing I love the most about it, and I read this in a review, is that Joss Whedon is Quentin Tarantino-esque in his dialogue and his writing, and it really shows with the Avengers. There was never a dull moment, and none of the comedy felt forced. It all felt like it was coming from a very real, truthful place on who these characters are, and it was so enjoyable. It was just, I almost didn't even have to see what was going on the screen. I could just listen to what they were saying and how they were saying it, and that would have been worth the price of admission alone. It was so fun. Every 30 seconds to a minute, there was a moment to be had. This is going to be quotable. It's going to be memorable. I'm guaranteeing you right now, it's one of the best of its kind, and I'm so happy for it. It's everything that people have been wanting and waiting for the last 4 years, and I couldn't be more happy with that because 4 years hype and anticipation, that's a lot to live up to. And thankfully, this movie does not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. Now, what some people were worried about, myself included, was the recasting of Ed Norton with Mark Ruffalo. I can tell you safely and surprisingly that Ruffalo has become the new film Hulk very easily. I think the problem was with the original Bill Bixby Hulk, who's classic and awesome in his own right, they tried to channel that lonely man, dramatic, angsty Hulk. And it's been done time and time and time again to the point where I think audiences accept and they understand this version, so there's no excitement left to be had. There's no thrill left to be had of a man running from the law or running from his inner beast because, okay, we've seen this, we understand it. This Hulk in the movie knows exactly what he is, knows what makes him tick, and he's not happy at all with who he is. He's not excited that he's a living monster, but he's accepted the fact that this is a part of who he is, and that's, I think, a big strength, no pun intended, for this version of the Hulk. He's allowed to be able to have fun now because he understands everything that his life has become about now. He's not fighting it anymore. It's not a prison either. It's just something that's the truth and that he's accepted it. Doesn't mean he has to like it, but it's just a new way to visit this Hulk, and it opens up the doors for a lot of other things. So now, we can't be afraid of the Hulk, but we can relate to characters who are maybe terrified of a Hulk out. And this movie does have that. And I was surprised I related so heavily to one of the characters who gets legitimately freaked out by a Hulk having a Hulk out. And he has some of the funniest moments in the movie. I mean, the audience I saw it with was gut-bustingly laughing at the Hulk. And it was hilarious. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything too much, but one of the small moments that really did it for me, and this is a small spoiler, but he's fighting Thor, and there's a long drawn-out fight with the Hulk, and all the Avengers fight each other. It's great and it's enjoyable, but he's fighting Thor, and there's a moment, a very small moment, where he knocks Thor's hammer out of his hand, and he tries to pick up the hammer and can't do it. The Hulk can't pick up Thor's hammer. I mean, just saying that is hilarious, and seeing it on the screen, freaking funny. And there are much, much funnier moments than that, but that was one of the funniest that I found, and no one else found it as funny as I did, but I really enjoyed that small moment. Loki kills it as the main villain. He is much more sinister, much more legitimately threatening in this movie than when he was in Thor. Thor, he felt more like the bastard son who was trying to find his place and trying to take revenge, but doesn't exactly. He's trying to figure out exactly what he wants and how he wants things. This one, it's very clear what he wants. He's just a spiteful, evil, vengeful creature. And he's Loki, the god of mischief, so it fits perfectly. And Tom Hiddleston, of course, nailed it great. And it was just enjoyable to watch. And he was a great, great villain. I look forward to seeing him in many other movies. All of them, really. I mean, everyone's signed on for multiple movie deals. And I kind of don't like hearing that news until I've seen the movie, because if they signed on for multi-movie deals and I don't like them, then I'm not excited. In fact, I'm disappointed that I have to look at them in those roles again and again if I don't like it. But I can safely say that everyone in these roles, in the movie The Avengers, down to the most smallest character, I look forward to seeing in future roles. Like Kobe Smulders, who played Nick Fury's right-hand SHIELD agent in this movie. She didn't have much to do, but I can see that there's obviously something for her to do. She could be the new Phil Coulson type character, who was also surprisingly good and funny. I mean, I thought he was a bit bland and boring at first when I saw him in Iron Man 1 and 2, and thought he was just kind of a filler character. But no, he's found his place, and I'm happy that they were able to actually develop a character with him a little bit. I was surprised to see that, but I was also very excited to see everyone down to not the A-list characters get their shining moments. That was fun. Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury also has moments to shine. He basically plays still a leader mentorship role. I was expecting a moment in the movie where he kind of goes full out, explodes, and there's like a room of countless enemies around him, and all the Avengers aren't with him, and he has to take down every single person, and you're not sure if he can do it. But he takes on mostly a mentorship leader role in this movie, and it's fine. It's Samuel Jackson leading a troop, and you can't argue if someone like Samuel Jackson's going to lead that many big team players, that many big egos. You got to have someone like Jackson to lead it. It's Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Iron Man again. He delivers like he always does. He'll continue to deliver like he always has, as far as I can see. And there's nothing new that you haven't seen before with this Iron Man, but it's enjoyable as it always is, and very happy to see him back. It's going to be it's unimaginable that anybody could take over Tony Stark and not be Robert Downey Jr. He has merged himself with this character. It is now impossible to see anyone else in that iron suit and not be Robert Downey Jr. It's just so great. And he has zingers and witty marks. He probably has more jokes and references than any other character in the movie. And he's a character that does that, so it was very fitting if anyone's going to throw as many jabs and as many off-the-wall comments, it's going to be Tony Stark. And none of it felt out of place, or none of it felt ill-timed. Every moment felt right on cue. It was put in just the right package. And yeah, I can't say anything else about Robert Downey. I'm so beside myself that he is with us as Tony Stark, and I look forward to seeing Iron Man 6. Thor, Chris Hemsworth. This was actually my favorite Marvel tie-in movie, was Thor, because of the scale and the epicness and the larger-than-life feeling that movie had with Asgard and all of the mythology tied into it. And Hemsworth's role isn't as large as Tony's or Steve's, but he's in it for just the right amount of time. He's not going to talk you into the building. He's not going to spend all of his time talking about what he's going to do. He's mostly going to do it. He's a warrior. He fights, and he speaks very eloquently, pseudo-Shakespearean, so I love hearing him talk. I love that Asgardian accent, if you will, and it's always fun seeing him on the screen. He has a few scenes with Loki, which I never get tired of. I totally buy the fact that they're brothers, and I can feel that relationship and that frustration, that brotherly bond, and it comes through, and I think that was very easy to miss, but these two really connect, and there's strong chemistry, and it comes through, and I really enjoy that. And then Chris Evans as Captain America, Steve Rogers, who I heard the news, and like everyone else, I thought that the Human Torch is Steve Rogers? What? But he is the first actor to have played a role that iconic as the Human Torch, or that known, and then transition into another role even more iconic as Captain America, and do the second role so well and so unique that you don't tie in the Human Torch when you're looking at Chris Evans in a Captain America suit. And that was what I was afraid of. But he gives the role such sincerity and such humility that you can watch him as Steve Rogers and watch him as Human Torch, and they're totally different roles, taken about in totally different ways. So it's so watchable in these two unique ways, and it's so much fun. Steve Rogers has a few funny moments. Again, I don't want to spoil them, but he doesn't have any jokes that are out of line. His jokes are of the time. He's like someone from the 40s. He says things that you would expect a World War II soldier from that time to say, witty remarks. Again, I hate spoiling stuff, but there's a moment where Thor and Loki are fighting, and I think it was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that looked at Cap and said, "You can't take them on, Captain. They're gods." And Captain looks at Black Widow, I think it was, and says, "There's only one God, ma'am, and he sure doesn't dress like that." That's great writing. I love that. It fits with someone that strong conservative World War II atmosphere. I mean, the jokes are so in line with who they are, and it brings these characters to life. It makes them actually believable instead of just two-dimensional, eye-candy, action-packed sci-fi movies. They actually feel like real people. Another welcome surprise was Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, and I was surprised, but I actually bought her as Black Widow in this movie. Iron Man 2, I was not sold. I thought they just got Scarlett Jo because she looks great in the Black Widow costume and can definitely pull off the action scenes, but I didn't buy her being a Russian spy. And thankfully in this movie they actually pay homage, or they give more weight to her backstory of being a Russian spy, and they did the accent, thankfully. I mean, I can buy her American voice now, and I mean, she's a spy. She probably is a master of accents, but it was just so important to me to see that moment with her speaking fluent Russian and, you know, talking about taking jabs at her own country and things like that. But she sells being a Russian spy, and I thought that was what was strongly missing in Iron Man 2, and thankfully she does it. She has a few moments, she has a few sensitive moments, which I enjoyed, and yes, greatly enjoyed her as well. Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, he got stiff a little bit from what I hear in the reviews, and I can see that on the screen, but he had his moments to shine too. He was the purple archer that everyone wants to see, and he kicked some ass. For someone who just has a bow and arrow, he actually showed that he can hang it up there with the best of them, even if he just has a bow and arrow. He is awesome. So I know you probably want me to look for some dirt on this movie or what I thought was wrong, since that's kind of the point of a review, but I think my biggest problem with the movie, and it's a stupid problem, but the movie is just so full of memorable moments and quotes that come at you in a storm. Like every 30 seconds to a minute, there is something great happening that I almost want the movie to make a mistake, like to have a moment of just nothing, so I can appreciate the sheer amount of awesome writing and moments that are being thrown at me. And the music was wonderful. The cinematography was to be expected with a summer blockbuster popcorn movie. Joss Whedon's only directed one of the movies, Serenity, but he's been the brainchild of so many properties, and it's very obvious why people were so beside themselves when he was hired as director, and I was too, but I didn't quite understand it. Now I do, and here's to looking for much more Avengers movies in the future. Joss Whedon, I can safely say, is the Christopher Nolan of the Marvel properties now. People will trust him. He understands these characters' heart and soul, and can write them like no other, and definitely knows how to put them on the screen. So here's to seeing more Marvel properties in the hands of the great Joss Whedon. That's all I have to say for now. I might sound like I'm geeking out and rejoicing, but with a movie this much fun and this phenomenal, you have to enjoy it. There's really no other way to watch this movie. So I'm Silver Lightsaber, and I'll see you again.